Welcome to Champions of Inspiration. I'm your host, Scott Schilling, and I'm joined with a great friend today. Tracy Repchuk is the CEO of InnerSurf International. She's developed a legacy life business by systemizing, streamlining, and scaling to success. We're going to talk a lot about that here today. Tracy is a 9-time #1 international bestseller, including 31 Days to Millionaire Marketing Miracles from Wiley Publishing, has over 27 appearances in Forbes, is an international speaker from sharing stages in over 37 countries, including China, Dubai, Brazil, Africa, Australia, Singapore, the UK, has started a software company at the age of 19, so just a couple of years ago, has won over 20 awards from the Senate Assembly, from the White House, was a pioneer on the internet, developing brands, websites, automation, and now social media since 1994. I'm pretty sure you beat Al Gore with that. That's awesome. She's an Amazon influencer, a LinkedIn advisor, and has been featured expert for 22 national and local TV networks, and a trusted resource on technology, internet, social media, including ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox. Are there any more? And featured in 3 motivational movies. Now, most importantly, Tracy's a longtime friend of mine. Tracy, welcome to Champions of Inspiration.
Oh, thanks, Scott, for having me.
You know, we always have such great conversations, and it's always a blast. And I really want to utilize the time to serve you and the audience about your legacy lifestyle business and where you're going with this. Tell everybody a little bit about that.
Well, it's a very interesting thing. I'd had a near-death experience, which I think you're familiar with as well.
Yep.
And from that moment, I actually realized or had this messaging that each of us were on a mission. You have a message that only you can do, right? And so it became my mission and purpose to ensure that others accomplished what they came, let's say, to this planet to accomplish. And, you know, a 40-year history almost I've had as an entrepreneur. And it has really been the last few years now that I've been able to formulate a way that others could do exactly what, you know, my husband and my 3 kids, that lifestyle that we have led for the last 25 years now, you know, which is that freedom-based lifestyle. And so I started to develop this process that consisted of 8 steps around income, influence, impact, and ultimately legacy. And it has been really a joy and a blessing to start to spread this message.
Yeah, it's awesome. I too, December 14th will be 10 years from my near-death experience. I'm an overachiever. I lived. So you know, you get through it, but you do get a whole lot more serious and grateful, obviously, to be here, but a lot more serious about your message and messaging and your desire to fulfill what you've been put here. So how do you help people find kind of their why, you know, what their legacy is?
Right. Well, it really starts with, as you say, it starts with aligning your divine message to your purpose-driven goals so you can reach millions and deliver from your overflow. That's kind of the concept of it. So where we start actually is the end. You know, what is that goal? What are you driving towards? And it can be monetary. I'm okay if somebody says it's financial, because a person who is kind of this legacy lifer type of thing, anything that they have in their overflow, they're actually putting to philanthropy. And that's part and parcel of the entire model. So I'm all for unlimited abundance so that we can achieve not just for ourselves and others, but for being very active in the field of philanthropy. So that's where we start. And once we've set that goal, we work our way back and we say, okay, what's the movement you want to create? What's that driving message that you need to get out to the world? And what I make clear with people is we may not have, when we start a journey, we may not have that exact or precise thing that you're supposed to be working on, and that's okay. This is about peeling an onion as well, right? You can't see sometimes from exactly where you are right here what you're supposed to be doing 10 years down the road, right? And so we know that we're if we have that straight line approach, everything that we do is going to start to unfold. So we meet the people, we connect with who we need to, we reach the audiences we have to, we impact who needs to hear our message. And from that, we start to hone in tighter on what is your mission, what is your purpose that only you can do. But it's okay that you start exactly where you are, as long as we have the clarity of the movement, those people you want to impact and ultimately get their success. That's all we need to begin with, and then we move from there.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I spoke to an entrepreneurial group on Wednesday, and I shared my mission statement. Now, my mission statement was written almost 25 years ago, and it hasn't really changed other than the middle number has gone up. But the original mission is, my mission is multifaceted, to maximize people's ability, create a community of 1 million or more, maximizing their abilities spiritually, financially, personally, and professionally, creating enough influence to cause over $100 million in charitable giving, and to positively impact 1 billion or more lives on the planet. And I shared that with the group on Wednesday. And I said it was interesting because I was doing a radio show and somebody challenged me on the positively impacting 1 billion or more lives. And they said, well, that's kind of outrageous. And I said, why is that outrageous? I mean, Zuckerberg does it every day through Facebook. Yeah. Right. He's touching lives. Now the question is it positive or not? Right.
Right.
But the fact is, I said, what if I'm not good at it and I hit 100 million, or I'm just okay at it and I hit 10 million, or what if I'm not good at it at all and I hit 1 million? Would that be okay? Right. He said, you're serious about this, aren't you? And I said, yeah. God never puts anything on your heart that he doesn't prepare you to accomplish. But he just doesn't tell you when you're going to accomplish it. So you just got to keep on pedaling, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's you touched on earlier an important part that I want to highlight here. And that is, you said we get more urgency, right? It's because we understand time is not our friend. It is it is not a given. It is a granted, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And I've had countless people leave the planet far too early that were friends with unfinished business. And I think that's one of the things is you do act on from a sense of urgency and drive, knowing that we have something specific to do. And that's why when, I take on a client as well, I'm of that same kind of modem. And that is, I've created such a linear template-based system in order to speed the process for them, because I don't want this to take a lot of your time. I don't want it to be a 10-year journey when it can be a 4-month journey type of thing, in order to, get all your foundational pieces in place. And that is, that's why it actually took me a while to get it to the point where I could take it to that person, right? Have somebody duplicate the system. It simply took me all this time and all these experiences I've had and all these successes that I've had to be able to succinctly put it into a place that people could walk the yellow brick road now.
Well, that's where the systemization comes to. Experience is a great teacher. It's just a very expensive teacher. Better to borrow it or buy it than it is to experience it, right? And so your years of expertise put into systematizing this in a way that people can take this templated process and now put it into action. My gut tells me that it's got to truly encourage people because they finally feel like there's a way for them to achieve their goal. Is that true?
And it absolutely too. As we go through, how the journey begins is somebody takes a quiz, and then you get on a call with me and we go over your score results. And then we start to assess based on your goals, what would that look like, right? What would a offer, for example, in your business look like that could help you to accomplish that task? What could you be doing in your business? And it's always playing way bigger than somebody is, right? And from that realization that they should be playing bigger, but now they have the infrastructure and support system in place to do that bigger game. That's where the confidence comes in. And I think a lot of times, not only is it about the goal setting, because that's the easy part. Yay, I'm going to make $1 million, right? That's easy to say. But now we have to get the system in place, and the pieces in order to accomplish something of that magnitude for somebody. And when they get that confidence, which is usually the piece they've been missing, and the clarity of the path, then man, they're running now, and they're understanding that time is not on our side.
Yeah, which the image that just came to me, I coach intuitively and stuff shows up every once in a while. But what I just got from you is, people have been, driving along and the sun is setting. And so it's getting dark and they're struggling. And all of a sudden there's a switch and it turns their headlights on. And now they can accelerate because they can see.
Yeah.
Right. That was the visual that I just got as you were talking there, taking your system and putting it into play to move toward it.
Exactly. And I'm going to give you one even better
Sure.
than that.
Okay.
It actually is like Alaska. It's 24/7 sun.
Well, yeah.
That's kind of how it starts to move. Dark spots don't come and set because because it's all just so template based. Everything is just so systemized now that it's just such a clean path now, and it's simple. I'll tell you, one of the biggest things I did was pull out all the reams of technology and marketing that people are struggling with.
Yeah.
Go back to 1985 when I began my company, right? I had the phone and I had the yellow pages, or I could go door to door. Those were my options, right? We have become, and as in love with technology and as in love as I am with ChatGPT and social media, all of these not used properly become a complete and utter distraction to the only thing you should be doing, which is making the cash register ring, moving your business forward, and focusing on the optimization and success and delivery of your clients.
Yeah. Is it fair to say that you're working with folks who have great hearts, but haven't maybe had the clarity of which path to take? Because they have such great hearts, there's probably been multiple paths ahead of them, and they've had a hard time refining it down to the path. Is that true?
Yeah, and it's a couple of other things as well on top of that. So I deal with speakers, coaches, and heart-centered entrepreneurs, right? Enlightened entrepreneurs. Well, so what starts to happen there is they hear, right? So they often hear, okay, you need your marketing funnel and you need this and you need your fancy website. They hear all of this stuff when in actuality, they don't need that stuff, right? What they need is clarity of message and a system, the way that they do something, and a delivery mechanism. Well, our delivery mechanism right now is as simple as Zoom, right? But the other thing that happens, especially with heart-centered entrepreneurs, is they don't know how to charge. They are so ingrained some way to, they got to give, they got to give, they got to give, right? But what happens there is they give till they bleed, or they empty their tank constantly. Well, a heart-centered entrepreneur has great difficulty being in the flow, right? Being the channel, the conduit, whatever we want to call this, when they're empty, when the tank is empty, because they have nothing to draw on, and everything constricts, or energy constricts. When you understand that you need to be in a constant state of abundance to be in that flow, right? Because that's the way that you're not only going to satisfy yourself, which is, kind of that first dynamic, but others, which is society, but further than that, the philanthropy artery. Now we have a way to do that, and to have them justify asking way higher premium prices, and the prices that they should always have been asking for. And now they have that confidence to say, yeah, you know what, I do deserve that, as opposed to a lot of the ways they were brought up, or a lot of the expectations people placed on them because they had a gift.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Back, geez, almost 25 years ago now, Jack Canfield, Mark Victor Hansen came up to me and gave me the money talk, is what I
Yeah.
call it. And that's when they said, son, God's granted you talents and capabilities many people don't have. And because of that, if you're not utilizing those talents and capabilities fully, you're robbing humanity. You're cheating humanity. In fact, you're being selfish. I was like, wow, you guys are being pretty harsh on me. And they said, they said the word obligation. I substitute the word invitation. You've got an invitation to make as much money as you possibly can. And silly me, I said, well, see, you guys, it's just all about the money, right? And they looked at me and they said, you think it's just about the money? It's about the two things that come with money: the influence you can have and the good you can do.
Bingo.
When you have an abundance or an excess of money for your own needs, you now have the ability to help other people with their needs.
Yeah.
And it was a real reframing for me as well, is understanding that if we've been granted capabilities, like I said, they flat said, if you're not doing everything that you can do, you're being selfish, because you were granted these talents and capabilities by a higher source, right? You've been given this, it's been put on your heart to serve more people.
Yeah.
Get your butt out there and go do it. It's a little bit of what they said, right?
And that's where the income, you see the 4 stages I have, right? Income, influence, impact, and then ultimately the legacy, which is the philanthropy stage. And it's funny, a lot of the people that have been coming to me to become part of the program have been successful actually for themselves, right? And here's the thing though, they're not making a lot of money. They're just making enough money to survive, to pay rent, to be mortgaged, to have food on the table. But they have unbelievable skills and talents. Well, that's not what you're meant to be doing with that. We need to get you to that influence stage. We need you to be making an impact with your message so that you can deliver from philanthropy, for philanthropy. And that was the driver that almost all of these people had missed, is it's not about surviving and kind of just kind of doing what you need to do. It is about ensuring that, as you said, other people have the abilities to leverage your skills and your message, but more importantly, you are delivering from your overflow. You're giving, and it never hurts.
Yeah, it's interesting, and it's so fresh. Speaking to an amazing entrepreneurial group. on Wednesday, and just it felt so good to just leave it on the field. You just put it all out there,
Mm-hmm.
but the rewards afterwards, people coming up and saying, wow, you inspired me to go and do XYZ, or
Yeah.
gosh, I've been sitting back wondering if I should make this next move to play bigger. There's no guess anymore. I'm going to play bigger, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it feels amazing to do what you can do to inspire others to truly live their dreams.
Yeah. That's it exactly. And I often get asked, what's the difference between legacy and legacy life? So a legacy in the traditional sense, right, is creating something that is passed on. You're determining what you're going to leave your family. It's that generational wealth, things of that nature. But a legacy life is about shifting your activities towards a more intentional focus and ensuring that your actions are aligned to your purpose-driven dreams. That means you actually start to embody your legacy without effort, and you're delivering from your overflow. And it's about contributing on a larger scale. It's about happiness, joy, calm, and productivity. And it's about living out your bucket list and having plenty to share. And that really encapsulates what most entrepreneurs are seeking, which is that freedom, financial freedom lifestyle, right? Where you can do what you want, when you want, where you want, with who you want, and then be able to grow from there. And so this has just been such a fun shift. I mean, I've always kind of lived that way. I determined I had that decision back in, I guess it was almost the year 2000 when 3 kids came into my life, right? I needed to shift the way I lived. I needed to ensure that when I went on a speaking gig, my 3 kids could come and so could my husband, so that when I spoke in Australia, we went for a month. And so this is how I started to, at that time, I was calling it, kind of living by design, right? Being the architecture of your life. But now it's even more than that, because it's not just about being the architecture of your life for you and your family, and it's about almost the servitude of everyone.
Yeah, no, I love that. I mean, the reason I think you and I, well, it's not I think, the reason I know you and I resonate so well together, and because I've written in a couple of my books now, that I don't want to leave a legacy. I want to live my legacy.
It's
Leaving a
exactly right.
legacy is accumulation of stuff
Yeah.
for somebody else at a future date. I'd rather live my legacy and be known for what my legacy is while I'm living. Whether
Exactly.
that be a servant leadership like a Zig Ziglar. And of course, I come from that Ziglar camp of you can have everything in life you want when you help enough other people get what they want.
Right.
Right. It just
Right.
is it's that natural thing. So I really love the legacy life concept, in being able to do that. You know, it allows you to live full out, play full out, and feel really fulfilled along the way, right?
Exactly. That's right. There's a difference between, arriving at a finish line of some sort and celebrating. It's the micro celebrations are constantly there. That is also what is fueling you and so, helping you attract more abundance, actually. And then more importantly, also attracting that right fit client, that person that resonates with you, that wants exactly what you can do for them, right? And yeah, it's just an amazing part of a journey that allows us to have fun, because this isn't just about the grind and hustle of being an entrepreneur. It's I want everyone to enjoy the journey, as I was able to with traveling with my 3 kids and my husband for 20 years.
Yeah, and it's so interesting, you know, um, back in the day, I did 288 talks a year for like 6 years.
Yeah.
And people say, how'd you do that? Well, you just get joy out of it, believe it or not. I mean,
Yeah.
is it a lot of work? Yeah, it's a lot of work. And then when I stopped doing it, people go, well, how did you do that? Well, it's because it came to an end and it was time to do something different.
Yeah.
And it's what you get accustomed to, right? So
Yeah.
if you've got this desire, this legacy piece, and you understand that it's not only about contribution today, it's about contribution in the future, and it's about utilizing your talents full out. I mean,
Yeah.
it's funny. Again, what just popped into my head is the 4-minute mile.
Hmm.
Nobody could do it. Nobody could do it. Nobody could do it. Roger Bannister does it. Everybody could do it. Everybody could do it.
Yeah.
Somebody finally broke the threshold and said, you know what? You can live a legacy life.
Yeah. That's right. There's a lot of talk about, hey, you can't have it all. That's simply not true. Somebody saying you can't have it all is somebody that doesn't have it all. That's it.
Yeah.
You can have it all. It just takes structure, right? It takes the ability to have clarity. Then it takes the systems in place, especially as an entrepreneur, to run that. And then it takes, the if we take a look at the planting, and then the tilling, and then the harvest, right? If we look at it in the seasons type of scenario, it's a very similar concept, in that when you do that in the right order, you do get to move to that moment of where you feel like you do have it all. I mean, I have felt like this for so long. I'm blessed with 3 amazing kids. I'm blessed with a business partner for the last 30 years who's also my husband. I'm blessed to be able to do what I want, and go where I want, and serve who I want, and say yes to clients that I want to serve, and say no to those that need somebody different.
Yeah.
And it just becomes an amazing way to be able to, and of course then give philanthropically, give to the those organizations that need help, that you choose to serve. Now everyone has their passion projects, and so now you can flow money to them, and just all of it feels really great. And it's really that position that we can all have. We're innately spiritual beings that are born with that flow, right? That
Yeah.
all
Absolutely.
encompassing, fully embracing livingness. It only gets stamped down on us through negative experiences that we've occurred. And so now it's just a question of let's get that new mindset in place. Let's remove any of the obstacles and barriers, whether it's mind or physical world, and let's start to focus on moving your kind of mission and vision straight ahead, and stop with the vias, right? Stop with these
Yeah.
oh, look over there, a squirrel, and all of these other things that have a tendency to pull you off. And then the biggest thing that pulls you off is other people who are there to derail you. You are going to get the vampires and the dream stealers and the blood suckers. They will come and glom on and attempt to derail you. And this is where having a good mentor in your life, a good coach, a good community, allows others to help identify when somebody is doing that to you. The number of times I've seen people all of a sudden skidding, and I'm like, what is going on that is causing
Yeah.
this? Hey, you were like so on top of the world 3 months ago. What happened? It's usually a person that has come into their life. And when we identify that, and they're like, hey, I think we need to spend less time together. It's just an incredible thing. And I watched a movie the other day, and it's so funny when you're watching a movie, you know who the villain is. The second they're there, they're like, oh my God, you can tell this woman is sabotaging her life as a producer, right? This movie I watched the other day, The Fall Guy. And I was like, it was driving me nuts. But when you're in your own story, in your own life, you don't identify that person,
Right.
because they're all sweet and light to your face. And I'm like,
Yeah,
oh
no,
my
exactly.
goodness. Yeah. So
That,
that's another thing that you just have to know is part and parcel of your growth cycle.
yeah, I call them vision vandals. And,
Yeah.
the vision that has been put on your heart is there for a reason. It doesn't just show up. It's not just this cognitive development that all of a
Mhm.
sudden is there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a heartfelt thing. So, is there a specific website that talks about the legacy life, or how do people find out more about this program?
Yeah, definitely go to legacylifequiz.com. That starts the journey. You take the quiz, you answer 8 simple questions, and in 60 seconds, you'll receive a personalized report about your score. And then you can choose to book a call and have a talk about what it looks like to roadmap your legacy life. Or you can attend one of my events I hold for a year at legacylifeevent.com. Proceeds of the tickets go to kiva.org, which is one of the charitable organizations we selected because I can focus in on women that are building communities that need the funding for that. And it's both of those ways are simple and beautiful and a super way to connect.
Awesome. Well, I know it's hard to believe that we blew through our time, but we blew through our time. It's not the first time we've had a conversation like that, nor will it be the last. So, Tracy, thank you for joining us here today.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Scott. Always a pleasure.
We always have so much fun. And thank you for joining us. We'll see you again next week here on Champions of Inspiration. Have a fabulous week. God bless.